Pete.
First off, if I have not talked to you about middle school volleyball practice today, make sure that I get your name on the list, either after this meeting or at lunch. We had a green-gray competition this morning in all the classrooms that were going on. So we're just going to go around the room, and we're going to say how many points, maximum of 3 points available. Jennifer, what'd you have?
Sorry, say 3 green.
3 points.
Yeah. Let's have fun.
Okay. Matt, what'd you have?
2 for green, 1 for gray.
Oof. Tonya, what'd you have?
1 green and unfortunately 2 gray.
All right. In my class, it was 1 green, 2 gray as well. Chris?
Keegan had 2 green, 1 gray.
Okay, hold on. Keegan. 2
green. 2 for green, 1 gray.
Yep.
And for me, green took all 3.
Okay. So the score for today is 12 points green, 6 points gray. It is currently roughly a 40-point lead for gray for the year.
I just wanted to say thank you for how you received our visitor Phil Oldham yesterday during Common Hour. You know, it's a testimony of like how we respect the world and how we are as citizens is always really demonstrated so well when we have a visitor from the outside and how we treat them, what dignity we accord them. And I thought you were just such a fantastic audience, and so pleased about that. And I just, again, thinking about like global responsibility, thinking about what that means. Some of you have heard me say this quote before, but the Dalai Lama, in Tibetan Buddhism, the Dalai Lama is literally supposed to be a human manifestation made up completely of compassion. Like he literally is just supposed to be pure compassion, but he looks like a person. And so he gets asked questions about compassion all the time. One of the questions I heard him asked once was, so if I want to be the most compassionate person in the world, what am I supposed to do? Like, how should I be more compassionate? Can you help me and give me guidance on this? And he said, well, you know, there are lots of books that written about this, and you can read those, or you can just simply do this. Reduce suffering in the world. Wow. Okay. Nice. And literally, that was like the words that came out of his mouth. Just reduce suffering in the world. And what a beautiful example of that, having Phil in here yesterday. Like, that's what his work is, right? Is to reduce suffering in the world. And that is a beautiful model. And that is a model for all of us at this school, where that part of our mission is so crucial. We've had, our mission at this school started out as this big, like, 2-page single-space manifesto. And then over time, it, like, shrunk down. As missions have gotten smaller and smaller over the years, and it shrunk down to about a paragraph, and then it got down to about a sentence, and then about 4 years ago, it got down to these 3 phrases. But all 3 of those phrases were attempting to basically summarize in a condensed way the spirit and the identity that founded this institution. And I do believe that, like, compassion, being a global citizen, responsible for the world, reducing suffering of others is at the heart of it. So again, thank you for like that just beautiful participation as an audience yesterday and treating our guests with dignity. Wonderful job. Thank you.
NHS people, please don't forget that we're meeting for 10 minutes quickly at the beginning of lunch in Marcus' office.
Senate people, we're also meeting at the beginning of lunch. Really quickly, this is going to be our, I think, the last Senate meeting under me as your president. And so I'd really love for all of you guys to be there and not, you know, I know you guys want to take skills, and do all that type of stuff. But I'd really love all the senators who are there today. Thank you.
Let's give some a round of applause for that. Thank you for your service.
Would Tess, Reddy, and Ella Dunkiel stand up, please, or step forward? So, Tess and Ella have been working with me on Encounter Weeks for years, what we call the Encounter Weeks Committee, and we don't always advertise the members of the group, and they are nearing the end of their service. It's been so much contribution to the UE weeks would not be the same, would not be what they are today or what they'll be going to the future without their contribution. Just want to give them a round of applause. And we have had Zoe Hecht also on the committee this year, and Candace has also joined. So they're going to be taking the committee going forward. Where are they?
Zoe's not here.
Candace is here, Zoe's not here. And all 5 of us, this is the next part of the announcement, have been working on a Big Trips survey, which will come in the form of a Google questionnaire. This is not about where you want to go next year necessarily, but this is kind of what you're interested in big trips anyway, or what keeps you from going. Do they cost too much? Would you like there to be more city ones? Do you want to go to Tanzania? So it's a general survey to help us figure out what kinds of trips the faculty and students might want to offer. So this is like just wanted to know what you think about big trips at all. That's going to come, I'm guessing, this weekend. It could be sooner than that. It'd be really nice to have your help just thinking about the future, big picture, and it may also affect what kinds of trips are offered next year. Thank you.
So a lot of the middle schoolers in the art elective are working on their projects, and we need certain supplies. So just make sure if you take supplies from the art room that you bring them back, because we're losing.
Kind of along those same lines, so the 6th graders have been working incredibly hard over the last couple weeks, putting together hot air balloons made out of tissue paper. It is really difficult to try to make a hot air balloon out of tissue paper. To do any sort of 3-dimensional structure out of 2-dimensional material is really tough. And the worst possible scenario would be if you go into the chem lab and you're not careful and you step on one and you get a big tear, which is pretty much impossible to repair. Okay, so if you happen to go into the chem lab at all, for whatever reason, please just be really cautious walking around there and don't touch any of the hot air balloons, please. Thank you.
So the 6th grade, we use like school issued Chromebooks, and there's only one charger per Chromebook, and we've noticed that people have been taking them and using them recently. So we're short on 2 or 3 chargers, and so if anyone has them or has seen one that's outside of the 6th grade classroom, please return them. Thank you.
I'm good. No, don't mind.
And Science 12, let's meet here before we go down to do our dissections. And again, the next roughly period and a half, the 12th graders are going to be dissecting a mammal brain. So if you have any interest in that and you're wandering by the room, you're more than welcome to come in and check it out. But again, as long as you are not disrupting what we're trying to do.
We have for you last minute a top flight, highly sought after Williston area magician to perform a magic trick to cap off today's morning meeting. So, what's your magician name? What is it?
Jimmy the Great.
Jimmy the Great?
Yeah.
Would Jimmy the Great This was with no notice. Jimmy couldn't even set up.
I need a volunteer for this trick. Hold this tissue box. Okay.
I close my eyes.
Nope. So what I'm going to do is I am going to take a tissue. So I have here
And I'm going to want you to tell me which hand I put it in.
Okay, look at you while you do
Well,
it?
yeah, you can look at me, but like, I'm going to need you at the end to tell me which hand I want to put the tissue in. Okay, so here we go.
Okay.
All right, which hand?
That one. Then it's probably that one.